It's the Golden Road, a radio hour. It's the Golden Road, a radio hour. Well, bridging the past with today for a better tomorrow.
Golden Road Radio Hour explores the intersection of arts, environment, culture, health, peace, justice, science, and technology, paving the road for positive social change.
It's the Golden Road, a radio hour. It's the Golden Road, a radio hour.
All right, and welcome to the TV show Spring Tour 2017. So give it up, all you out there in the audience. Woo! Wow, so many moving parts. So I'm your host, Michael DiMartino, and you're watching Golden Road Television. We are broadcasting live right now on YouTube, but we're also broadcasting into 6 counties on cable TV. This is completely a new paradigm that we're creating here. It's completely unprecedented. It's independent media at its best. It's a collaboration between Auburn Access and Community Television, Nevada County TV and Digital Media Center, between the Butte County Arts and Culture Television out in Chico, with Truckee Tahoe TV up in Truckee, California, with Shasta Community Television, and also Sacramento Community Television. We're reaching hundreds of thousands of people and subscribers right now on cable TV, and we're also bridging out and reaching out all the way around the world to bring a focus, to bring a camera, and to bring the sound, the music, the art, the culture, the history, and the insights of this amazing area known as the Sierra Nevada and the foothills. So you guys ready? All right, all right. See, no applause sign. This is authentic. This is reality TV here. We got a great show for you. And again, thank you, Ruckridge Family Band, for being here and performing some great bluegrass music. DJ Power, who's my co-host and a great DJ who'll be spinning some stuff between some of the performers and content providers tonight. And there's so many people to thank, but let's get right into the show. And I'm going to introduce some of my other co-hostesses who have been working really hard to put together original music and jingles for the show. So we're going to invite you all to sing along, and let's go over now to Gabrielle Lawson and Yvette Cadeau with some of the original music for Golden Road Television, bridging the past with today for a better tomorrow.
It's the golden, golden road. It's the golden, golden road. Building bridges from the past, reaching to today for a bright tomorrow to light the golden way. It's arts and culture, history, environment, and health. It's peace and justice, technology, inspiration for all. Come on, sing with us. It's the golden, golden road. It's the golden, golden road. It's the golden, golden road. It's the golden, golden road.
All right.
Woo!
We're actually passing out some song sheets because we're old time, we're Americana and folky up here, so we're going to invite you to sing along on a few of those jingles later on. So thank you very much. So now I'm very happy and honored to have here a representative from the Auburn Chamber of Commerce. You know, I might look like a renegade, but I'm actually very orthodox when it comes to doing media and production. I worked for years with the University of California, Santa Cruz in the Theater Arts Department. I also worked for the UMass 5 College Theater Arts Department, and I was one of the heads of the Robert Frost Digital Media Library at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst, Massachusetts. So I'm very committed to media and empowerment, education, and collaboration. And that's why we're doing this show, to bring a really special focus into this unique area of Northern California. And whenever we do a show in a community, the first people we always connect and ask, and they've been very supportive, is the local Chamber of Commerce. So put your hands together as I welcome Kathleen Schaefer.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. So for people who might not be familiar with Auburn, what's one of the features, if they come here, that it's really known for? Let's start with historically. I know it has a great and rich history.
That's interesting because we were just talking about that this past week. We're talking about getting a new brand for Auburn so that we can unite all of the business districts, all of the people, the businesses that are starting up here. And we were thinking, what is it about Auburn that brings people here? It's the history, but it's also the arts, and that's why I'm so excited to hear about your new business here, because the Chamber of Commerce is also all about business. We want to help you and everyone else succeed that have startup businesses, that are in businesses. We want to be your voice and support you. So I think that Auburn just has such a good environment here to support so many things that I think that is what attracts people here.
Fantastic. And I know that I was able to join the Chamber a few weeks ago, and I joined everybody with the afternoon social out at the Canyon View
I remember
Community Center.
Yes.
You do. And what a great event, because you really do provide a lot of very practical resources and support and free consultation for a lot of the businesses here. And I got to meet Kevin Hanley.
Yes.
And you were kind enough to send out a email blast to the community, letting them know about the show, because we do broadcast every week, and we want businesses to know that we're giving you something more than just a local ad. We're trying to reach out all across the area and even nationally to bring a focus here and to let people know about the incredible, diverse community. So historically speaking, what are some of the historical things that stand out for you about Auburn?
Well, of course, first and foremost, the gold rush. We have huge statues around town noting that. But, you know, I think so much more, just thinking about the stagecoaches, Wells Fargo, the Pony Express, all of these things that happened that helped build this country into what it is now. So there's just, you walk out the door, there's so much history just looking at this downtown, these historical buildings. And I hope that everyone, if you're not from Auburn today, take a walk around town and enjoy it for a while before you leave. But we're so glad that you're here. And we'd love to promote businesses, so we were very happy to promote this program tonight. And hopefully you read about it on the Chamber of Commerce. Get in touch with us if you have any questions about the area, because the more that we can do, the better business is, and the more that we can help you.
Great. I know one of the ones that I learned about when I started coming down here was the Auburn Drug. And I know Phil Jocks from Auburn Community Access TV actually did a great expose that was featured by NPR in Sacramento on National Public Radio. So it's an amazing historic building right across the street with an old-fashioned soda counter.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's a great and amazing area. So we want to encourage you to come out to Auburn. And of course, we're going to have David Burns on later, who is the curator of this amazing gallery, and talk about the history of this building, going all the way back to Cuban tobacco coming into this country and how that was connected with the Spanish Revolution. Lots of great history. So thank you for coming in today and talking a little bit. And is there something you'd like to leave our listening audience with before we finish?
I kind of feel a little Lake Wobegon here, so and I just wish you the greatest success, and please call in the Chamber if we can help you. That goes for everyone here, because we're about building business. So good luck.
Great, thank you so much. And later on, we are going to have a local business focus with the New Dawn gluten-free bakery that just opened up. And also we want to thank Healthy Habit right across the street, who provided catering for all of our musicians and staff people tonight. So if you're out there on YouTube and you're planning a trip to Northern California, definitely include Auburn on your trip. So let's do this now. We're going to have another guest up in a minute, but let's bring the cameras and go over to DJ Power, and he's going to play a little bit of a segue. And we'll be back in a few minutes with our next guest and lots more to come here on Golden Road Television Show.
First started playing this stuff, we played records such as this. Give me some microphone. Understanding me. But when I first started playing this, we had to play disco records. There were no, as you call it, rap records out there. We started playing in like 77, 78, no rap records. We played at the DJ disco records, regular records. Back in later, spinning records. Those that started when I started. I started at 11, going on 12. I'm 50 now. So this one we had to play first in history. Big up to the Hip Hop Congress Auburn chapter in the building. I said there's a we're going to bring it down, get into the next guest. Golden Road.
Hi, I'm Maeve Hassett, and
I'm Brian Hassett. We are here to represent the Auburn Indivisible CA chapter. Indivisible is a political movement, a grassroots and a national movement, which began with congressional aides who were concerned that there's been a right-wing takeover of our government, and it's an attempt by us, and it's going to be a successful attempt to take back the government through grassroots democratic means. So what we do to understand the Indivisible movement, think about what you see on television, all these congressional hometown meetings that are very enlivened by concerns by everyday people, from Arkansas to all through California. We had a very memorable meeting down with our member of Congress recently, and it made national news because we were able to get his attention. We can say that for sure. So the Indivisible movement is both a national movement and it's also a grassroots movement. And we here in Auburn have been very involved. Maybe we'll tell you a little bit about that.
yeah, the movement here in California, in Auburn, started organizing in January, and I read about Indivisible. I was interested in it, both of us, and so we attended a couple of meetings. We had a meeting in January, and then as we got organized in February, there was a meeting right here, and there was 400 people attended that meeting. It was pretty dynamic. So there's a lot of people who feel like here and everywhere that we've been sort of lost the power of the people. There's some other entities, some people, but a lot of very wealthy people and who've taken total control of the government. So we want to make a voice here, and we've done that through organization, through contacting and supporting people and contacting our congressmen. We have actually two in Auburn and the area. One is Congressman LaMalfa, and one is Congressman, what's his name? McClintock. And so we've gone to their town meetings, and some of you may have seen a demonstration on Tuesdays out on Highway 49 and Bell Road. And we've written to the congressman, and we have letter writings, and it's become a very exciting and supportive part of our community, wanting to really support the issues of health care. And it feels like we're losing rapidly the protections for our safety and our economy and in our environment and in our health care and and just protections for the people. And so this is what we're trying to really develop and support and become a national movement. And there's chapters in every little town and every county in California, so it's easy to find.
Yes, 1 second now. If you want to find out where the Indivisible chapter is, very possibly you can just go to your county and say Indivisible Nevada City, Nevada County, Indivisible Placer County, etc., and you'll get some connection. But there's also a national clearinghouse called www.indivisibleguide.com, which is being updated on a regular basis to keep people informed. This is an opportunity that many people feel very strongly about, that it gives us a voice again. We've had our voice taken away by lobbyists and by moneyed interests that have really, in effect, sequestered our government from us. And we want to take it back. We want to take it back through patriotic action on a local level, but also on a national level.
So for everyone, it's reaching across all political and economic specters, and it's exciting. It's exciting because I think this is transformational, and also that it's a movement that's going to have to change and emerge and adapt to all the changing conditions that we all see every day.
So my suggestion is, again, that if you want to have a political voice, a voice in our democracy, and to take it back, get in touch with Indivisible Guide, www.indivisibleguide.com. Here in Placer County, you can contact us at Indivisible Auburn CA for California. Thank you then, and hope to see you at our next meeting.
All right, a nice round of applause for the Hassets, who are doing some great activist work in the community. So on that note, we're going to turn it back over to our in-house band of Gabrielle Lawson and Yvette Cadeau with a song. If you know the lyrics, sing along. I'm sure you'll recognize them. It's a classic song with Everyday People.
Sometimes I'm right, or I can be wrong. My own beliefs are in this song. A butcher, a banker, a drummer, and them. Makes no difference what group I'm in. I am everyday people, yeah, yeah. There is a blue one who can't accept the green one for living with a fat one who's trying to be a skinny one. Different strokes for different folks, and so on and so on, and Scooby-Dooby-Dooby. Oh, sha-sha, we gotta live together. I am no different, and neither are you. We are the same, whatever we do. You love me, you hate me, you know me, and then can't figure out what bag I'm in. I am everyday people, yeah, yeah. There is a long hair who can't accept the short hair for being such a rich one that will not help the poor one. Different strokes for different folks, and so on and so on, and Scooby-Dooby-Dooby. Oh, sha-sha, we gotta live together. There is a yellow one who can't accept the black one for living with a red one who can't accept the white one. I am everyday people, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Stay there, stay there. All right, who knows who that song was by? All right, fantastic, fantastic. That was Mignon Gelly, an amazing native flute player, and she's been on the show before, and we hope to have her back. And I was honored to do a little bit of recording on her new CD, which is actually available right down the street of one of our sponsors. And we really appreciate their support, because it takes a lot of not only time, effort, and expense, but it takes also a lot of volunteer energy to put this production together. And I'm going to let you know who's behind the scenes a little more later. But we want to thank Forever Enlightened for their support. Let's give them a nice round of applause. And also New Dawn Bakery, New Dawn Gluten-Free Bakery, again, right here in downtown Auburn. Who would have ever known, right? So I want to thank our other third sponsor, and I call them a sponsor because their amount of generosity to open their doors to allow this broadcast to happen today is phenomenal. And not only that, but what they do every day here in the General Gomez Gallery is phenomenal. So again, put your hands together for the curator of this amazing space we're broadcasting live from here in downtown Auburn, for David Burns.
Thank you.
So we're not going to talk philosophy tonight, but I would like to kind of set the stage about some of the history of the building, and kind of, as we talk, bring us to current day and what's happening here. So let's know a little bit about why General Gomez.
Thank you, Michael, for bringing the Golden Road Show to Auburn. I think this is a great avenue and a new direction for the General Gomez Arts and Events Center. A few years ago, we opened the General Gomez Arts and Events Center to keep supporting the arts in Auburn, and which had been going on for quite some time. And we wanted to contribute by bringing in more live theater, and this is exactly what we wanted to see. So he's asking me to show you about what General Gomez is. That's generally the first question we ever get. And General Gomez was the name of my great-grandfather's cigar factory that he started in the late 1800s here in Auburn with a couple of friends of his. And it goes back, and when we're first looking at renaming the gallery, and we're throwing out different names, I just kind of threw out, let me call it General Gomez. And they're like, what is that? Your last name is Burns. And I'm like, well, it was the name of a cigar factory that was here in Auburn. It was very popular. They sold cigars throughout California, throughout the Mother Lode, over to the Comstock. They were producing 250,000 cigars a year. And I'm like, I don't want to name it after a cigar. But it kept sticking because it was unique and it was historical, what people liked. And so I'm like, well, I have a cigar box that we had saved through the generations, which is this one, and it was very artsy. So the top front of it shows, this is a stone Bavarian lithograph, and I got a larger image of it here that shows what it was, what it took to produce these cigars. And so here they were in Auburn, and I was trying to figure out, how did they come up with the name General Gomez? And so when I started researching it, General Gomez was the George Washington of Cuba. He was the military leader that freed Cuba during their revolution from Spain. And I'm like, aha, that's a little different than what I recall in my history lessons of the Spanish-American War. And I'm like, how did that get to Auburn? And so when I was looking at some of the old newspapers, there was a quote from Gomez talking about liberation, independence, and freedom, for Cuba. And I'm like, well, that's artsy. That's exactly what the expression of arts is. And so we added the E onto it for expression and kind of rewrote it into liberation, independence, freedom, and expression to express all the different kinds of arts that we want to have here in Auburn. So it was quite interesting to come across, this connection with Cuban tobacco. They got their tobacco from Cuba, and the wrappers came from Ecuador. They stored it in San Francisco so that it would be consistent, and it was very popular because it was noted for its consistency and flavor, which was on Yucatan.
Have you been to Cuba at all?
I haven't yet.
Amazing. I've been 3 times. And I'm not a cigar or tobacco smoker, but I will have to say, if you get a chance to actually have a real cohiba, of course, for those of you over 21 in our audience, take the opportunity. It's really a unique experience, kind of like having maybe a sip of champagne, or it's a real delicacy. So that's quite a illustrious background. So what are you doing now? So here we are in this space. Was this the actual factory, or was there multiple locations?
There was actually 3 locations that they were in. One of the images in the front window, which is very faded now, was called Bond Hall. It's down the street where the Union Bank sits now. Haven't found out why the building probably burnt down before the Union Bank was built. And then they moved down to Lower Town, and we have a plaque down in Lower Town that the Clampers put up because they wanted to honor General Gomez Cigar Factory being it supported 3 families and 6 employees rolling cigars.
I saw that the other day when I was walking in Old Town. I saw the plaque and I was like, wow, they were really a kind of a cigar monopoly here in Auburn, and really one of the foundation stones of helping to build this whole community.
It was, and there's also a plaque on the outside of this building that they wanted to put up to honor the history. So this building was built in 1885 by my great-great-great-grandparents, who were up in Gold Run during the hydraulic mining eras. And when the Judge Sawyer decision came down that stopped hydraulic mining, thank goodness, they decided to move down here. And so they bought up some property and built this building and built a couple other places around. And so it was a hardware store for 100 years, and then it was a furniture store for 50 years. And in 1950, the upstairs apartment caught fire, and my grandparents decided they didn't want to do that because Auburn had a volunteer fire department to rebuild the apartment, and so they put in this trussed ceiling. And
it looks like an upside-down arc in here. and that's really one of the benefits I want to say when people come actually to these live shows. You don't just get to see what we're broadcasting. You get to experience the spaces, the visual art, the other elements. You get to socialize and meet the people who are doing the work in the community to bring all of these things like arts and history and culture. And in a little bit, we're going to have Suzette Lanzarada on, who's in the community, and she works with naturopathic medicine. So there's a lot of incredible people in this community who contribute a lot. So when you come to the broadcast, there's a lot you experience that we don't necessarily broadcast on TV. And real quick, so what are you doing now with General Gomez Gallery?
Right now we put on currently there's the art show called Californios. There's 5 artists that are showing their work in here. We also have a lot of events that happen here, and we sponsor a lot of events that happen in the building. It's become quite popular. We've had the Tibetan monks in here, and we're doing a sand mandala. We had a video showing down on it, and it's very nice. We've had the storytellers group, the Auburn Winter Storytellers, who one of the...
That's Tibetan singing, if you're wondering. I wasn't clearing my throat, really.
That was good, though.
And we have storyteller Mark Berry, who's going to actually come around in a minute, and he's going to share some stories with you. And you have clay work, sculpture.
There's 6 residence artists in the building. There's a large clay lab downstairs that was a class going on this weekend doing sculptural work. There's a lot of functional clay going on as well, throwing tables and things like that, as well as 2D and 3D, a jeweler that's in the building. And so we rotate art shows about every 5 to 6 weeks, throughout the year, and then sponsor, and other people can, rent the building for their own events. We've had many weddings here, to my surprise.
Fantastic. Well, what do you think, you guys? How about a nice round of applause for David Burns and his wife, Coco? And we also want to acknowledge one of the artists from Californios is showing his work here behind us, Frank Ordaz. Frank, if you're here, thank you. Beautiful, beautiful work. We're really honored to be able to bring your visual art to the world. And you brought me a cigar box, but there's nothing in there. That's all right. It's a family show. It's a family show. We'll do that later.
But one of the artists in the building went to Cuba just a couple of weeks ago and brought me 3 of those nice cigars you're talking about.
Uh-oh. We'll talk about that later. So, great. Thank you so much. So what I'm going to do now, before we have Mark Berry share a story, we're going to go back and we're going to share another jingle. Why don't we do, even though we're not doing it today, why don't we do our Being Green jingle? It's a really fun, it's a little bit sassy because, Golden Road, bridging the past with today for a better tomorrow. We can't always be too serious, right? We got to have some fun. And the show really is dedicated to education and entertainment. We call it edutainment. So let's give another little round of applause for Gabrielle and Yvette, who are going to share our theme song for our environmental section called Being Green. And then we're going to have up Mark Berry, storyteller. So thank you. Over to Yvette and Gabrielle.
Okay, when you hear this song, you will recognize it. So feel free to join in if you have your lyric sheets. I still don't have it memorized. We just wrote it. I love to breathe the crisp, clean air along the mountain trail. Recycle all my household trash and fill my compost pail. Being green, being green, being green, treading lightly on the land. Being green, walking softly on the earth. I love to swim in waters clean beneath the noonday sun. Eating GMO-free organically can be so very fun. Being green, being green, being green, treading lightly on the land. Oh, being green, walking softly on the earth.
Waiting for, Hi, I'm Mark Berry. I'm one of the members of the Foothill Storytelling Guild. We do storytelling for grown-ups and kids, and this story takes place here in the foothills, so I bring it to you today. The story happened when I was 7 years old. I was living in San Francisco. I still lived with my parents when I was 7 in San Francisco. And if you lived in the 1950s in any part of the United States, you were young at that age, what was on TV was shows like Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett, and those were the movies that were coming out of Disney and Hollywood. And so more than anything, as a little boy, I wanted to be a frontiersman. Well, my mother's uncle had a cabin on a mining claim up above Iowa Hill. Now, if you take the freeway towards Reno and to get off at Colfax, and back then it was a 45-minute drive on a one-lane road, you'd get to the little town of Iowa Hill. It's still there, and it's still a one-building town. The one building is called the Store, and that building has... Well, let's see. It's the mayor's office. It's the Quickie Mart. It's a saloon, the liquor store, the post office, the one landline telephone, the gas station, and probably 6 or 7 other things that I'm forgetting. Quite an experience. Well, when my dad wanted to go up to the mountains in the wilderness, I was ready to hop in the car, as you can imagine. So this spring, when I'm 7 years old, we go up there in the springtime because the snow has just melted enough that we can get to the cabin. And Dad always stops at the store for his beer, naturally. And when he stops for his beer and goes up to the bar, I saw some kind of a commotion over there in the Quickie Mart side, and I went over to see what was going on. And there were 2 or 3 Iowa Hill residents there with Mrs. Baxter, who owned the store with her husband, and they were surrounding a little tiny fawn, a little deer with white polka dots on his spindly legs, just barely able to stand. And it turned out that his mom had accidentally gotten in an accident on the one-lane road, and he was an orphan. And they were trying to figure out how to keep this little guy alive. And finally, Mrs. Baxter figured out with pulverized cornflakes and some cow milk and a Playtex living glove with the tip cut out of one finger, she found a way to get this little guy to eat. And once he started eating, he wasn't going to stop. We had to take turns feeding him. And when it was my turn, can you imagine a 7-year-old kid having his own pet deer? It was amazing. I'll never forget it. Well, the little guy lived through the day, and he lived through the next day. So it looked like there was another resident in the town of Iowa Hill, population 16 and a half. Well, the Iowa Hill residents got their thinking caps on, and they all got together, and they decided he's going to have a name. So they thought, and they finally came up with the name Buck. That's what they came up with. So now we have Buck the deer. And Buck the deer was my own personal pet. I know everybody else felt that way too. I'm going to fast forward now 4 years. I'm 11 years old. Now we're going up in the fall, the last time of that year, to close up the cabin before the winter snows come. In the fall, in Northern California, it is hunting season. So we come up to the store. Dad goes in to get his beer. I'm a big guy of 11 now, and I went out back to see if Buck might be around. See, Buck was a pet, and he was a member of the family, but they didn't ever keep him in a cage. He was free to go and be a deer whenever he wanted to, and the Baxters planted plenty of extra greens out back, so he came and visited very often. So now I go see if my buddy's out back, and he is out there. Now, Buck is now 4 years old. He is beautiful. He is big. He has a rack with 3 points on each side. And to me, he looked like Bambi's father. Remember? Oh, beautiful guy. So, except for the red ribbon around his neck, Mrs. Baxter, I don't know where she got ribbon that wide. She put this great big, ridiculous-looking red ribbon around his neck, hoping that somebody would know he was a pet and he would survive hunting season. When I guess it worked so far. Anyway, I'm out there greeting Buck, and we're licking and hugging each other around the neck, and we're having a wonderful reunion, and my best friend, my pet. And after a while, I decided I'd go in to see what the guys were doing inside the saloon. They were shooting pool and having fun, and so I wanted to go in there and be one of the guys since I was all grown up now, when all of a sudden, we were blinded by the light. Couldn't see a thing for the light. And when the lights went out, we tried to look, and there was this vehicle out in front with all these light bars on it. And these 2 guys climbed out of that vehicle, and they came into the saloon and ordered a couple of beers and immediately started complaining. Here we spent our whole 3-day vacation. Here we came up here to hunt for deer, and there aren't any deer in this country. We built a blind. We've been rattling antlers. We've been using doe urine. We've tried everything. There aren't any deer, no even any signs of any deer in this country. They were so disappointed and complaining. And the Iowa Hill folk like nothing better than to tease what they call flatlanders. And these guys were a couple of ace flatlanders. They were all decked out in their hunting garb with the Gore-Tex this and that, and the hat that you could put the screen down 12 different ways. They looked like they just stepped out of a hunting catalog. Well, the flatlanders started in. Deer, what do you mean you don't see deer? We've got a deer infestation problem here. We got deer everywhere. Jake, didn't you have your pickup? Jake, yeah, I left the window down my pickup. They started chewing on my upholstery. And Al, didn't you say something about your screen door? He says, yeah, if I don't close the screen door tight, they come in the cabin looking for a piece of bread or something. Oh, the Iowa Hill folk were laying it on thick. We got deer up to our knees. The Flatlanders weren't having any of it. They knew when their legs were being pulled. About that time, I saw Mr. Baxter go over to open the front door to let some of the smoke out, and I saw Mrs. Baxter tilt her head toward the back door. Well, I didn't know what was up, but I sure wanted to be in on it. So I very nonchalantly walked to the back door as if anybody would notice me anyway. When I got there, I kind of got the idea of what was going on, because there was Buck, with his antlers. And Mrs. Baxter started taking that red ribbon off of his neck, and I started to get the idea. So we pointed his front end in the back door, and I went around to his back end, and when the ribbon was off, I gave him a swat on the back end. And here comes Buck. Shiny black hooves on that wood plank floor sounded like a machine gun. Rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat. He came running in the back door, right through the saloon by the pool tables next to the bar, and then trotted on out to the front door. And the Iowa Hill folk didn't miss a beat. They were just jumping. Baxter, there's another one. Get him out of here. Didn't we tell you to leave that back door closed? You've got it, you've got it. Well, those two Flatlanders, their eyes are now as big as saucers. Their mouths are hanging open. And they threw some money on the bar, and they got up and walked out without saying a word. They climbed into that vehicle, and they turned around and went down the hill, putt, 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 and they were never seen from again in those parts. I call that hunting season, and starring Buck the Deer. And if you'd like to know more about storytelling, we have a Foothill Storytelling Guild, and if you just browse Foothill Storytelling, it'll come up one of the top pages, and you can come and listen, and you can come and tell and try your stories. We want to hear your stories. And as Dave mentioned, we have a storytelling event right here on the last Saturday of January once a year called the Auburn Winter Storytelling Festival. And there's another big one in up North San Juan, up above Nevada City. They have the even bigger one, the Sierra Storytelling Festival. So you can find my contact information and phone number on the website, and I hope you do. And thank you, Michael. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Where's my microphone? Where's it at? Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Let's get into the music. Thank you for the jingles, ladies.
Children growing, women producing, men go working, some do stealing. Everyone's got to make a living. Things keep moving, angels singing, times forsaken. I've been saying, everyone's got to make a. Children growing, women producing, men go working, some do stealing. Children growing, women producing, men go working, some do stealing. Children growing, women producing, men go working, some do stealing. Children growing, women producing, children growing, women producing, men go working, some do stealing. Everyone's got to make a living. Things keep moving, angels singing, times forsaken. I've been saying, everyone's got to make a living.
One of the first records you learn how to cut up. I was like 11. Let's get back to some entertainment on the other side of things. DJ Power.
Howdy, everybody. I'm Billy Buckman, and I got my buddies here. We've got little Grace Jennings here on my right. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Okay, well, more from her later. We have Homer Wills on harmonica. Homer? And Steve didn't make the bill for some reason outside, but Steve Gus. Nobody really gives drummers any respect here. I'm Billy Buckman. There is an island rhythm, I feel it in a breeze. It rolls in from the ocean like a song. The people in the village, yeah, they hear it too. That makes me feel like I belong. With that island lady, there's not a care today, 'cause I know everything will be okay. And I know everything will be okay. The old man in the village, they're playing dominoes. They're talking about how it used to be. Before the tourists came here, we were only slaves. And oh, how we wanted to be free. And oh, how we wanted, come on, help me out. We wanted to be free. And oh, how we wanted to be free. Come on now. Oh, how we wanted. And oh, how we wanted to be free. And oh, how we wanted to be free. We wanted all the children to wake up every day, to wake up and feel that island breeze. We wanted all the elders to go to sleep at night and wake up in the morning and be free. Come on, let's go to church. And oh, how we wanted to be free. And oh, how we wanted to be free. Sing it for the children now. And oh, how we wanted to be free. And oh, how we wanted to be free. Come on, Homer. To put a man in slavery just to make somebody rich. Please tell me, what kind of world is this? But he will meet his maker, yes, someday when he dies. And then his God will ask him why. Oh, how he'll want to. And oh, how he'll want to. He'll want to be free. And oh, how he'll want to be free. Yeah. And oh, how he'll want to. He'll want to be free. And oh, how he'll want to be free. But with that island rhythm, we knew there'd come a day, and we knew everything would be okay. We knew everything, yeah, we knew everything, and we knew that someday we would be free. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Where do I put this here? Okay, this is a song called, that was called Freedom. This is a song called My Old Town. Kind of like You Can't Go Home in parentheses. Drove back to my old town yesterday, and I walked along the streets we used to play. Even found that oak tree where we carved our names. But nothing round that old town looked the same. No, nothing round the old town looked the same. I remember when you showed up at my school, and I teased you and I acted like a fool. But that was long ago, many miles in between. Still wonder what happened to that dream. Yeah, I wonder what happened to our dream. Well, the old folks, they don't sit out front at the corner store, and them freight trains don't rumble through no more. Went by my old house, they cut down every tree. Well, there's nothing left here that I want to see. No, there's nothing in that old town left for me. Stop by that old cafe where we used to go to get a bite before I hit the road. Found our old corner booth, waitress called out my name, and suddenly the old town looked the same. When she called out my name. All right, all right. Okay, I wanted to go first because I didn't want to go after Grace. And, Grace, why don't you tell me a little about yourself? You're not shy, are you?
Depends.
You're 15, 20?
I'm 10, almost 11 in August. I go to Loomis Grammar School. I love music and
and she's really smart and cute, and what else? Okay, well, what song are you going to do? You pick it.
Well,
Which one first?
Kate Wolf.
Okay. Key of A for you folks out there in TV land. So she just started working on this, what, less than 2 weeks ago? How's it go?
When I was young, my mom told me, she said, child, take your time. Don't fall in love too quickly before you know you're mine. She held me round the shoulders in a voice so soft and kind. She said, love can make you happy, and love can rob you blind. Here in California, fruit hangs heavy on the vine. There's no gold. Thought I'd warned you. The hills turn brown in the summertime. Now I may learn to love you, but I can't say when. And this morning we were strangers, and tonight we're only friends. I'll take my time to know you. I'll take my time to see. And there's nothing I'll show you if you take your time with me. Here in California, fruit hangs heavy on the vine, and there's no gold. I thought I'd warned you. And the hills turn brown in the summertime. There's an old familiar story, and an old familiar rhyme to everything. Well, there's a season, and to every purpose there is a time to love and come together, a time when love longs a name, a time for questions we can't answer, though we ask them just the same. Here in California, fruit hangs heavy on the vine, and there's no gold. I thought I'd warned you. And the hills turn brown in the summertime. I thought I'd warned you. And the hills turn brown in the summertime.
All right.
All right, how about that?
So this is
This is what we're going to do. This is live TV. We're going to come back to Billy Buckman and Auburn City Limits and just a moment. But before we do that, we're just going to take a minute to introduce another member of the community, and we're going to come back with more songs in just a minute or two. So you guys stay there. We'll be right back. But how was that? Amazing, right? Wow. These kids are putting me out of a job. They're too good. Holy moly. Amazing grace. Beautiful, beautiful. So thank you. I'm very honored to introduce the next part of the show. Again, this is Golden Road TV show. We are every Sunday night live, 2 hours from 6 to 8 p.m. on YouTube and in 6 counties on cable television. We are pressing the envelope of community media, of independent media, and bringing a focus to the amazing area that we know as the Sierra Nevadas and the foothills. You guys having a good time? Okay, this is the homework. This is the homework, though. I want everyone to go home after this, go on Facebook, make a link to Golden Road Radio Hour, and let your friends know that they can watch it every single week. We really appreciate your support. That's the way these things work. It takes everybody's involvement and participation and collaboration. So I'm very honored. I'm going to introduce our theme jingle with the Golden Road House Band with Yvette and Gabrielle, and then I'm going to have an amazing interview with Suzette Lanzarata. And this is the section called Gift of Health, which is all about empowering you with the knowledge so that you can have a better quality of health, vitality, and life. So Yvette and Gabrielle, Gift of Health. And you have a song sheet. If you want to sing along, look on the sheet.
Thank you, Michael. We're going to sing this twice, so you can join us the second time. Share the knowledge that heals the darkness with a holistic light. Share the priceless cures of ages, better quality of life. For the mind and for the body, for the spirit so true. 'Tis the gift of good health that we give to you. Share the knowledge that heals the darkness with a holistic light. Share the priceless cures of ages, better quality of life. For the mind and for the body, for the spirit so true. 'Tis the gift of good health that we give to you.
All right. Wow, I get goosebumps on that one. Again, these are all original songs that were written specifically for the TV show by Gabrielle Lawson, myself, and Yvette Cadeau. So everything you're seeing and experiencing is the power and the essence of our creativity in this community. So we're going to move on to Gift of Health now and talk about healing. And I'm very happy and honored to have someone here in the studio. I just met her recently by coincidence as I walked around this amazing historic community of Auburn, California. And we talked briefly. And she's the mom of our local business focus in just a few minutes, the New Dawn Gluten-Free Bakery. But I'm very happy to have on the show chiropractor Dr. Suzette Lanzarata. So welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
What a smile. I don't know what's brighter, your smile or the painting behind you. Maybe it's just the whole aura of taking it in.
Thank you.
So you're based here in Auburn.
I actually have a practice in Rockland. At this point, I've been in Auburn as a resident and a practitioner for the last 20 plus years, in Grass Valley and Nevada City actually for 11 before that. I have a total of 35 years in practice at this point. I have 4 wonderful, amazing children that I brought up with chiropractic, homeopathy, and nutrition. And it's lovely to see my son and daughter-in-law opening a bakery in this area, gluten-free, gluten and dairy-free.
They're the ones blushing right over there with the babies. You can turn around, you can see them. If you're watching at home, you can't see them. Great. So typically, when you meet someone, how do you kind of start to assess what their condition or their health situation or crisis is?
Most people come in with problems, and as is human nature, they generally wait until they are really hurting before they come in the door, unless they know me and they know I'm going to chew them out if they don't come in sooner. But
You don't look that mean, though.
I've been told I do have an authoritarian side that comes
Are you a
out
Leo?
occasion. No.
Okay, all right, just checking. Sorry if you're a Leo out there.
I was going to say I've learned the terms listen, validate, and negotiate. And someone mentioned the other day that I negotiate toughly occasionally. So.
Well, in people's personal interest, of course.
Yes, absolutely. So most people come in with a problem, and we either address it mechanically with chiropractic, or if it's something like allergies, or you have a bee sting or poison oak or something of that nature, which is, as we all know, as residents in this area, poison oak's a real common thing to have occur. I treat it with homeopathy. Or if you come in and you have allergies and environmental sensitivities, we look for food allergies, which is why my kids know about gluten-free.
So if we rewind just for a minute, you say
Sure.
homeopathy. Can you
Yes.
give us a little bit of, for those who aren't familiar with natural medicine, a little more of what homeopathy is and maybe where it's derived from?
Yes, actually, homeopathy is a science of medicine that uses everything in nature, actually, some naturally occurring and some not so naturally occurring, but in small doses, in small potencies. And the idea is that you treat like symptoms with like. And so a perfect example of that is a bee sting might be treated with Apis mellifica, which is made from honeybee. Or poison oak would be treated with Rhus toxidarin or Venatum. We're on the West Coast, we're Venatum, and on the East Coast it's toxidarin. But literally, you're treating the symptoms with like.
Well, it's interesting because I spent time with the Mayans in Mexico, and one of the things they used for arthritis is they would actually let bees sting them because there was some sort of element of the actual bee sting that would go in and help to dissolve whatever.
Yes, it reduces inflammation.
So since this is Gift of Health, and we always like to leave people with a little gift that you can take home and do in the comfort of your house, and it's very convenient, and you don't have to go anywhere. Is there something this time of the year that's extremely prolific and that's something that people could do to help counterbalance that?
I would say allergy season. Most people are suffering with allergies, and from a homeopathic standpoint, I actually have a pharmacy and I do blends. So if you have watery, itchy eyes, I use euphrasia and a homeopathic histamine. And we actually have a blend called the Northern California Allergy Mix that is designed with our local trees, bushes, and allergens. Wow. And I'm not sure if the natural food stores carry that particular blend, but I have it, and you certainly can get it from me. And that really does help people with their allergy symptoms. The nice thing is if you come in to see me, I can actually blend to whatever your specific allergy symptoms are because I have my own pharmacy.
And that's such a great concept, is really working with each person's medical or health condition individually, as opposed sometimes in Western medicine we just kind of come up with these blanket cures, and a lot of times they're not even cures. It's really just treating the symptom of a greater disorder or imbalance, correct?
Correct, and I look at cause and causality.
Well, I would love to just sit here and talk. I mean, I have to say, this painting behind you, it really works. So thank you, Gift of Health, the beautiful golden light of California. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Golden Road TV show. Let your friends know we're live every Sunday, 6 to 8. We usually produce behind closed doors, but this is our spring tour, so we're bringing out to galleries and places all around the Sierra Nevadas and the foothills. In 2 weeks, we're going to be in Chico at the Women's Center. Then May 7th, we're going to be up in Truckee at the historic Truckee Donner Community Arts Center. And right after that, we're going to be doing May 14th at the Grass Valley Center for the Arts. All different performers, different speakers, different content, and lots and lots of, there's never a dull moment or a lack of great things to talk and broadcast about. And if people want to get in touch with you.
I have a website, drlanzarada.com.
Thank you so much, and
Thank
for
you.
all your work and service to the community.
Thank
And
you.
we're going to have your son up in just a little bit. But let's go back now. Enough talking, right? We have limited attention spans. It's 2017. Everything, 30 seconds, 2-minute bites, 1 minute. Let's go back to Billy Buckman. We're really happy and honored to have him here, and Grace and Homer Wills. Put your hands together again. Live, Auburn City Limits. Here it is.
Okay, we also have Steve Gust here. Wave to him. Wave to him. He said he's chopped liver. So, Grace, what are you going to do now? Why don't you introduce this song?
This song is called Bobby McGee by Janis Joplin. If you know the song, please sing along.
So you've known Janice's music for a long time?
Not really, you just introduced her to me.
Why don't you kick it and we'll come in?
Okay. Intro?
Go ahead. Just like you do at home.
Busted flat in Baton Rouge, waiting for a train. When I was feeling near as faded as my dreams, Bobby thumped a diesel down just before it rained. He rode us all the way into New Orleans. I pulled my harpoon at my dirty red bandana, and I was playing soft while Bobby sang the blues. Windshield wiper slapping time, I was holding Bobby's hand in mine. We sang every song that driver knew. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing, ain't nothing, honey, if it ain't free. And feeling good was easy, Lord, when Bobby sang the blues. Now feeling good was good enough for me.
Clap your hands, everybody. Come on out.
Good enough for me and my Bobby McGee. From the Kentucky coal mines to the California sun, yeah, Bobby shared the secrets of my soul. Through all kinds of weather, through everything we've done, your Bobby, baby, kept me from the cold. One day I'm near Salinas, Lord, I let him slip away. He's looking for that home, and I hope he finds it. Well, trade all my tomorrows for one single yesterday, to be holding Bobby's hand in mine. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing, and it's all that Bobby left to me. Well, feeling good was easy, Lord, when Bobby sang the blues. Now feeling good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and my Bobby.
Here, G, Funky. This is a really pretty song about a guy that's having a bad day. I don't know if it's true. It's probably true somewhere in the world. Oh, you got a part in this too. It's called How About That? You got a part in the song here. Came home from work early one day. Mama met me at the door and she said, "You better stay away." Well, I looked in a window, some dude wearing my hat. That was all that he had on. How about that? You see where this is going? So I walked down the corner, hanging out with the boys. We was smoking and drinking, making a lot of noise. Somebody called the police. They were there in a minute. Took me down to the jail and they threw me in it. How about that? Real good. Coming up again. How about that? Come on, Homer. So I called up my baby, come throw my bail. She said, "I'm a little busy right now. You can rot in jail, but I can send you a file through the U.S. mail." Well, that's the best that I could do. How about that? Ooh. You can learn here in Auburn. How about that? Listen up now, here's the sad part. So I sat in my jail cell like a caged-in rat. Finally got me a court date, but I could live with that. When I walked in the courtroom, I couldn't believe my eyes. That judge was wearing my new hat. What a surprise. How about that? How about that? Well, I could find a new girlfriend, easy enough. But replacing that hat, that's gonna be tough. How about that? How about that? How about that? Yeah.
What do you do after that? It's a hard act to follow. Thank you so much, Grace, Billy Buckman, Homer Wills. And you're not chopped liver. I'm a percussionist. I just didn't remember your name. There's so many moving parts to this show. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Golden Road TV show. You guys having a good time? General Gomez Gallery. This place is amazing. Thank you again, Dave Burns. And now we're going to do our local business focus, and they're actually one of the sponsors of our 4-show spring tour that'll be taking us from here to the snow-capped peaks of Truckee and Lake Tahoe, out to Chico, and back to Grass Valley for our Mother's Day special show, and we have a lot of amazing stuff that's happening. And then we'll go back in the studio, we'll close our doors, and we'll be back for our fall tour. But this show does broadcast every Sunday live from 6 to 8 p.m. Lots more to coming up, and we're going to have some great music with the World Beatniks World Music Dance Band coming up in just a little bit. We have a special treat performer joining us tonight all the way from Pakistan. Okay, we have Tatir, who's going to be performing, but right now we're going to do our local business focus, and again, to one of our sponsors. So welcome Katie Davis from New Dawn Gluten-Free Bakery. Oh, that was a mouthful. I got tired just saying that. So you're here in Auburn, and what are you up to? You're just right down the street, correct?
We are. We're in downtown. We started off at the Nevada City Farmers Market, and we did that for a couple of seasons, and then we decided to open a storefront in Auburn.
And why gluten-free?
My daughter and I are both allergic to gluten, and when she was very young, she was under 1, we found out that she was, and there wasn't any options for us locally. We were making everything at home.
Well, amazing, because gluten-free has definitely become really more popular, and in a lot of places we go, they at least offer gluten-free options. And what are some of the, I came in the other day, I had one of your cocoa bars.
Oh, a Samoa bar.
Samoa bar, wow, yum, they were delicious.
Yeah.
And so if people come in, what are some of the ingredients and things they'll find at the bakery?
Well, we try to source as local and organic as possible, and then we work with 10 to 12 different flours. So each item is blended specifically for...
Wait a minute, 12 different flours.
Oh, yes.
I had no idea. What are some of the grains or flours that you use?
We have sorghum, buckwheat, arrowroot, tapioca, some potato, brown rice. There's almond, coconut. Yeah, so we have
I'm getting
some.
hungry. Wait, stop. Did you bring any? Look in your purse.
No, I wish I did.
All right, and so you and your husband, Ben Lanzarata, whose mom, Suzette, is our chiropractor who was on the show earlier.
Yes.
What's the baby's, who's that little cute one right there waving to you?
That's Piper.
Piper.
She's 2 months.
Adorable. So we really want to thank Ben and you for helping to support. We cannot put on these productions without community support, as opposed to just bringing live music alone. We're trying to do education and entertainment. We're trying to share a lot of what happens here, some of the magic of the Sierra Nevadas and the foothills, and get it out to the world. So it really does take a lot of support to do that, and we want to thank you for your support. So if people wanted to come, what days are you open, and do you have a website they can look more of some of the things that you do?
Yeah, we are open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. And then you can follow us on Facebook at New Dawn Bakery. And we also have a website, www.newdawnbakery.com.
Fantastic. You guys hungry? I got some munchies. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And we really appreciate your support. Again, that's the New Dawn Gluten-Free Bakery. Another great option here in downtown Auburn for conscious and healthy food. And we also want to acknowledge our catering tonight for the staff and performers was done by Healthy Habit right across the street, and thank you for their support. If you're out there and you're getting thirsty, we also have some great conscious drinks right here. If you'd like, they're for sale. You can come and get some kombuchas or coconut waters and lots of stuff. Just come and see Amy. And lots more show to come up. So why don't we do this? I think it's time for, I know we have our numerologist coming up in just a minute. He's going to tell us all what's happening. But why don't we do this? Let's go over now and do the Peace and Justice theme song. And we're going to invite up Lorraine Reich. And then after the interview with Lane Reich from the Nevada County Peace and Justice Center, we're going to have Paul Menard, a local numerologist and author, who's here to talk about the numbers and what's in store. And of course, we all want to know, because every day the news, the corporate news, is quite a mixed bag and can be fairly depressing. So he's going to look beyond the curtain and unveil some of what's happening numerologically in the world right now. So again, let's go over to Yvette and Gabrielle with and there are song sheets. If you have a song sheet, feel free to sing along. This is all participatory music. So just listen one time through and feel free to join in. So
we're
Katie
sing
Davis, thank you so much again for being on the show.
This one's for you, Lorraine. You're out there somewhere. You need to get on stage. Peace is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. People around the world, come join your hands. Peace is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. Cheer and walk the golden road across the land. Peace is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. People around the world, come join your hands. Peace is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. Share and walk the golden road across the land. Walk the golden road across the land.
All right. So part of the magic of live broadcasting is sometimes people don't know they're supposed to actually be here at that exact moment. So we're going to skip the Peace and Justice report, and we're going to talk with our numerologist, and we're going to come back now that you learn the lyrics, okay? Everybody knows the words, so we're going to have you do the old-fashioned sing-along, the peace choir. But right now, again, we're going to look beyond the veil. We're going to go into the world of the metaphysical and the mysterious, and I'm really happy to have another local business author, numerologist, and again, we really thank Forever Enlightened for their support to help make this show possible. I think they really deserve a nice round of applause. Really, they really put out resources to help tonight be possible. So thank you so much. And I'm going to introduce now author and numerologist Paul Menard. Welcome.
Thank you. This is my book, and Vicki is my boss. She's back there. She's the one who runs Forever Enlightened, and she's responsible for my being here. What do you need to know?
Well, let's start. Let's go back to the dawn of creation.
Oh, okay.
Why are we here? Anybody know? No. Let's do this. For folks who don't know about numerology, what is it?
Numerology is all about the numbers 1 through 9, and every letter of our alphabet has a numerical value. Every letter in your name has a meaning also. Your first name represents your physical life, your middle name is your emotions, and your last name is the spiritual heritage from Dad's side of the family. And so in about 500 BC, a guy by the name of Pythagoras put together the formulas that we use.
I think I've heard of him.
You've heard of him?
Yeah, I think I've heard of him.
He was also very big in music foundation and astronomy. And so what happens with the numbers, these numbers from 1 to 9 represent everything that could possibly happen to you in life. If you were to build a robot that would function like a human being, it would have 9 buttons. Press number 1 and you have new beginnings and action. Press number 2 and you have patience and cooperation. Press number 3 and it's very creative. Number 4 and it's got the work ethic that it needs. Number 5 and it's likes freedom and it's very adaptable. Press number 6 and it has love and service, people skills. Press number 7 and it's very introspective and very spiritual. And press number 8 and it's got skills handling money and assertiveness.
Wait a minute, what number was that again?
8.
8. Okay, write that down, you guys. Number 8. I'm playing the lottery tonight.
Well, actually, the number 8 does not guarantee money. Oh. It's all about the administration of money. In China, it's a big number, right? The only reason it's associated with money and abundance in China is because the Chinese word for 8 sounds exactly like the Chinese word for abundance. And so they like the number 8.
Also like eternity, right?
Yeah, yes, it is. It is exactly.
Its own tail.
They do not like the number 4 because the number 4 in their culture, that is the Chinese word for 4 sounds exactly like disaster is just around the corner. So they don't like the number 4.
We're not in a 4 period right now, right?
We're in a number 1 period, actually.
Okay.
Believe it or not, we have a new president. Sorry about that. But if you take 2017 and add them together, you get a number of 10, and then you get a number 1, and that's a new beginning. So horrible as things are in the world right now, we actually are starting a new 9-year cycle. And believe it or not, in a few years, you're going to see some real improvement. But it is a new beginning. A lot of entrepreneurs are coming forward. A lot of people are being very generous, helping out the arts. And but the thing about the numbers is that each letter of the alphabet has a numerical value. Each letter of your name has a numerical value. And these numbers are all energies. The energies are all around you, like oxygen, and they cause things to happen. So it's kind of like the computer. You press a button and something happens. So your first name, as I said, is all about your physical life. Middle name is your emotions. So just before you're getting ready to incarnate, you meet your parents, believe it or not, right there. And together with them, you choose your 3 names. Each letter of your name causes something to happen when you incarnate. So your name is actually your life script. And so we really do create our own destiny.
So fantastic. So let's switch now from the personal. We have about another minute or 2 left to what's happening numerically right now, something that we can kind of empower people with a little bit of some knowledge. And of course, you're set up over in the corner, and I know that you're available for ongoing consultations and appointments at Forever Enlightened here in historic downtown Auburn. But what's something that we can give people to kind of take home and digest a little bit right now, what's happening?
As I said, this is a number 1 year, 2017. And we take each month chronologically, and we add that. So we are now into April. That's a 4. You add the 1 to the 4, and this month is a month of change. There's a lot of changes coming up throughout this entire month.
Kind of feels sometimes like I'm holding on to the tail of a wild Mustang, just trying to keep up with the potentiality in light of everything that's happening. So
a lot has happened. And of course, when you choose your name, you have to live by the numbers and the events that they are going to trigger. Sometimes we do not like our name, right? Sometimes our parents, before we're born, say, I don't want you to be Mike, I want you to be John. And so you're born, you don't like it, and after a while, you change it. And when you do that, then you change your entire life script and your entire destiny.
Well, I mean, this is such a dense topic, and we only have a very limited time. What I would like to do is come into the store, Forever Enlightened, and really do something more in depth and really do a feature. But we have a lot more talent, a lot more things happening. And Paul, thank you so much. You are the sage of Auburn. You're like the mystic sitting at the table imparting your metaphysical knowledge. So thank you for all that you do.
And by the way, anybody who wants to come back to my little corner, I'm doing freebies tonight. So I'll be happy to tell you what kind of a year you're having, what kind of a life you're having also, okay? Thank you.
All right, nice round of applause for Paul Menard.
All right, thank you.
And let's do this. Let's go over to DJ Power for a minute, and then we're going to come back with with Peace and Justice Report with Lorraine Reich from the Peace and Justice Center in Nevada County. And you got your jingle sheets because we're going to ask you to get old-timey Americana and sing along with us. So again, Paul, thank you so much for being on the show. And over to DJ Power.
It feels like a world of soul that makes me lose all control.
Anybody want to get up and dance, feel free. You can move around in here. Okay, now the original sounds you're hearing, you want to hear more. We got Lyrical Shaman 3 coming up. This is this week coming up, April 13th. DJ Power Live in Oakland. 14th back in Grass Valley at the Grass Valley Center of the Arts. And then Sacramento on the 15th. So it's going to be Lyrical Shaman, kid friendly, some real hip hop. And a few of the flyers over there, you're going to see Brother J, X-Clan, Wolfhawk, Jaguar, Soulflower. I mean, it's going to be an array of MCs, not rappers, Not all that cursing and all that. It's kid-friendly. You're going to enjoy this one. So come check out Lyrical Shaman. Look out for Lyrical Shaman 4 coming in June. Grandmaster Cass. Let's get back to Golden Road TV. DJ Power.
All right, so you got your song sheets. We're going to go back now. We have Lorraine Reich here live in the flesh for the Peace and Justice Report, but let's start with our jingle with Yvette and Gabrielle. Please sing along.
Yeah, we had a rehearsal, so now it's time to do the real thing.
All right.
Peace is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. People around the world, come join your hands. Peace is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. Share and walk the golden road across the land. Peace is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. People around the world, come join your hands. Peace is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. Share and walk the golden road.
Come on, one more time if we're going to have real change in the world. Everybody, hear your voice.
Peace is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. People around the world, come join your hands. Peace is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. Share and walk the golden road across the land.
All right, thank you. All original songs. So I really want to thank our next guest. She has been very active, not just in Nevada County and the community and really around the world. I know she was recently at the Dakota Access Pipeline. It's someone who walks her talk and every day is dedicated to change. And she's been involved with Golden Road when we were the radio show starting at KVMR and broadcasting from the historic Nevada Theater in Nevada City, where we'll be on May 14th. But I'd like to welcome, and again, I thank her for her support. And put your hands together. Lots of love and respect for Peace and Justice Report with Lorraine Reich.
Thank you, Michael.
So, wow, there's so much dense subject matter we could talk about. We have a limited time. But first of all, tell us a little bit about the Nevada County Peace and Justice Center.
Well, we continue with our regular programs, and our primary program is we go on to the high school campuses and we bring what we call peace recruiting to the teenagers. You may or may not know that the military recruiters are there just about daily on all high school campuses across the land. and there is no other voice for any careers other than military careers on campus, except the once every year they have a career day. But at any rate, we go up often and we table up and have conversations with the kids about getting involved in other kinds of careers, peace careers or environmental careers that balance out the message they get from the military recruiters. And we try to tell them about the truth of the military service that they don't hear from the recruiters. So that's our main program. But aside from that, we also regularly show films the fourth Friday of the month at the Open Book up in Grass Valley to raise awareness, and we've been doing that for over 5 years.
And you also do Give Peace a Song, which is an artistic and fun and entertaining spin on activism and educating and empowering people.
That's right. Our Give Peace a Song annual event is in order to give a voice to activism. We welcome artists and musicians who have a voice on issues of activism to come and express their art and express themselves on our stage at Give Peace a Song, and that's every year in the fall.
All right, so we have limited time, but let's just run down a little checklist. I know we've been talking about some of the things that have happened over the last couple months since our new administration has come into office. So can you share a little bit of insight?
Yeah, I want to first say it's kind of been like a roller coaster ride, except we're at the top and it's only been going down. We've had Trump's, every day it's another mind-blowing day with Trump's cuts to the EPA and the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Education and the privacy bill. So I'll just say a few things about each of these. Days before Obama left office, he enacted a bill through the FCC that was to give greater protection to consumers' privacy rights on internet services. And unfortunately, just a week or so ago, Trump reversed that, such that now our ISP providers, such as Google and Yahoo and AT&T and the various internet providers, will now no longer be required to maintain our privacy. And that opens up our data and our searches on our browsers and how we use our computers are now going to be subject to the highest bidders and for basically marketing purposes.
It's the same old story, profit over people, right?
That's right. So that's one of the bits of bad news, and of course most of these things I hope you're already aware of, but Trump has, through Scott Pruitt, has enacted major cuts. A third of the budget of the EPA has now been slashed, and
the repealing of the Endangered Species Act, and the opening up of fracking, and the accelerated progress of the Dakota Access Pipeline, along with other pipeline projects. I know we're getting depressing, you guys, but we're here to educate and let you know what's happening and to hopefully inspire you to become an active part of making changes, if not in the world, here in our own local communities.
Yeah, and so looking at all of these cuts and also noting how Trump has asked Congress to increase the military budget by another $54 billion for this year, that would bring it to about $635 billion for this 1 year for our military budget. We get the picture. We understand that what's going on is that, at least my perspective, is that Mr. Trump wants to ensure that his CEO friends, his corporate sponsors, and the military generals of whom he is so respectful have their day. And we saw that just last week with the bombing in Syria. That didn't help anyone. didn't help anyone except Raytheon, GE, Halliburton, and the military contractors. So whereas Trump will say, "Oh, I'm cutting the budgets in order to like deregulation of the EPA and cutting Superfund funding for the gross polluter sites in America, that he's going to create jobs." Well, it's not
There's
really
a lot
about
of coal
jobs.
miners still sitting there with empty pockets waiting for something to happen, I'm sure.
Yes, and those jobs are dirty jobs, not good jobs. But what's really going on is the increase to the military budget, and we have a lot to be worried about. Although it's interesting that the bombing in Syria was, by Trump. The real serious issue is his lightning quick response to this chemical. We don't really know. There's been no investigation as to whether Syria was bombing its own, chemical weapons on its own people, or whether the Russians were involved. So we may never know now. We needed to have an investigation, but with Trump's lightning quick.
And even the chief of the Justice's Supreme Court doing what they call the nuclear option and getting rid of basically the criteria and guidelines of how things have been run to basically put in the new Supreme Court. So let's do this. We have about 30 seconds left, and we're going to have Joseph Torres up. And then I can see them in the room. We're going to have a great performance. Get ready to move your bodies, because you're in for a special treat with the World Beatniks are going to be performing live with guest featured dancer, now a resident of Auburn, all the way from Pakistan, with Tatir. So lots more to come. We're going to turn it into a party for all of you here in the studio and continue broadcasting with the World Beatniks. But just to leave on this note, and I know you're always great for report.
I have a good thing to say, because despite all this depressing stuff, the good news is that so many more Americans have become activists. You've got this indivisible movement across the land. Up in Grass Valley, we have 3 indivisible groups with over 2,500 people. So the good news is that more and more people are out there trying to get elected to positions, and so we're going to turn this mess around.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nice round of applause. All right, so I know we're going to have Joseph Torres coming up in just a minute, but let's end on a happy note. Let's do the theme song, the jingle, one more time, and then we have Joseph Torres from the Auburn Hip Hop Congress, and then a live performance here in the studio. You're in for a really special treat if you haven't heard him, the World Beatniks. So here we go, Peace and Justice jingle with Yvette and Gabrielle.
Is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. People around the world, come join your hands. Peace is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. Share and walk the golden road across the land. Peace is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. People around the world, come join your hands. Peace is flowing like a river, justice rising up like mountains. Share and walk the golden road across the land.
Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Yeah. So as Michael said, my name is Joseph Torres. I represent a group here in Auburn called the Auburn Hip Hop Congress. And we are a local nonprofit here in Auburn. And we put on all sorts of community events. We've thrown a few events here in the Arts Center. We just recently had a fundraiser to help raise funds to get a speaker system for the center so we can hold more musical events here. We also have a free writing class from 4 to 6 p.m. From 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Placer County Library up here in Auburn. But when I'm up here on stage, I go by the name of DJJ, and the only thing I'm going to say about Trump is if he's trying to make America great again, I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to try to make hip-hop great again. Check 1, 2. There we go. I'm going to tell you something about myself, guys. Listen close. life. I faced a few problems, I was at a younger age, so I didn't know how to solve them. Laying in a hospital bed, on the brink of death. The doctors were all questioning if I would breathe another breath. The walls were closing in, the lights were getting darker. Death was fighting hard, so I fought back even harder. It was a tough battle, but guess who came out on top? This bold individual who's changing lives with hip-hop. Now I'm alive and well with a dream to pursue, educating the youth on information they never knew, expressing all my thoughts on endless blank pages, stepping up on stage to entertain these beautiful faces. Staring death in the face has brought me this far, to show off my talents and prove that I'm a star. Anything is possible when you put your mind to it. A dream will only become reality if you go out and pursue it. This is who I am, this is who I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be the change that the world wants to see. I'm paving my own path, my path to destiny, and there's not a single person who will get the best of me. I'm proud of who I am, I'm proud of who I've become. I'm gonna change the world until my lifespan is done. And when I'm dead and gone, I hope my message will remain, and I hope that all of you will remember my name. It's 3 simple letters. DJJ. Check it. Early in my childhood, I was forced to be defensive, facing kids daily who were nothing but deceptive. Always coming home feeling nothing but shame. I hid inside my room so no one could see my pain. I felt suicidal, so I tried to commit it one time, but then I stopped myself cause it wasn't my time. I put the blade down, then I changed my attitude, and then I turned my positivity up to its highest magnitude. Today I'm alive and well, and I'm telling kids everywhere not to pick on anyone cause it's nothing but unfair. I'm going to public schools and telling kids my story, letting them know it's okay and that you never have to worry. The nightmare will end and everything will be alright. You gotta push through it and show you can put up a fight. I'm not saying to get violent cause that is not okay. The best thing to do is just turn around and walk away. This is who I am, this is who I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be the change that the world wants to see. I'm paving my own path, my path to destiny, and there's not a single person who will get the best of me. I'm proud of who I am, I'm proud of who I've become. I'm gonna change the world until my lifespan is done. And when I'm dead and gone, I hope my message will remain, and I hope that all of you will remember my name. The early years of my life made me feel like I was under a spell. I didn't make it any easier cause all I ever did was dwell. But then I took the past and I put it all behind me. The devil got my face, but I didn't let him blind me. When I die out, I'm leaving a legacy behind me. If you got a problem with that, then come here and find me. Go ahead and test me, I'm not afraid of anyone. What's the chances of me quitting? It's simple, they're none. I'm moving forward and I'm never looking back. I feel like a rogue beast cause I'm on the attack. Nobody can stop me, I'm on one simple quest, to show this world that I'm different from the rest. I've got a message and it needs to be heard globally. If you can help me out, jot my digits and get a hold of me. I've got a name and I hope it expands. If you feel like God do, then let me see you clap your hands. Then let me see you clap your hands. Then let me see you clap your hands. Come on, clap. Clap those hands, clap those hands. You feel me? This is who I am, this is who I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be the change that the world wants to see. I'm paving my own path, my path to destiny, and there's not a single person who will get the best of me. I'm proud of who I am, I'm proud of who I've become. I'm gonna change the world until my lifespan is done. And when I'm dead and gone, I hope my message will remain, and hope that all of you will remember my name. Thank you guys. That song was called Message of Hope, which you can hear off my new album that I just released at the end of March.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much for spreading that message around the world. And yeah, I hope that my being present on this planet is doing just that, because why else would I be here? I've actually had several very close calls with death, and I know now that I'm here to be of service to the planet and to the people. So I hope I do a good job. My name is Valerie Hummingbird, and I want to share a song with you off my album, Warrior of the Heart, which is available. Signed copies. That's just me. This song I wrote in partially in Hawaii and partially in my backyard. And it's really about well, you'll see what it's about. But really, it's about that our home is right here within ourselves, and there's really nowhere else to look because we all have it right here. Ay, 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 ya, ay, ya, ay, ya, ay, 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 ya, ay, ya, ay, ya. Found my home high in the mountain. I found my home out at sea. I found my home on the wings of the wind. I found my home inside of me. I am spirit dancing with the wind, looking out across the desert sands. I am a witness to the actions of man. Spirit dancing with the wind. Sing with me. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ya, ay, ya, ay, ya, ay, 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 ya, ay, ya, ay, ya. I found my soul in the light of a fire, in the scent of cedar, in the prayers of sage, in the wind that blows, in the smoke that rises, in the stories told of the ancient ways. I am spirit dancing with the wind, looking out across the desert sand. I am a witness to the actions of man. Spirit dancing with the wind.